Sorry, I'm letting them in as fast as I can. All right, Mr. Chairman, it is 7:30. If you're ready, I will start the recording.
Yes, please do.
Lindsay, we're all set to start.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Brendan Magnan, Chair of the Milford Inlands Wetlands Commission or Agency. Apologies. Calling to order the August 6th, 2025 regular meeting and public hearing of the Inlands Wetlands Agency. Mayor Rose, please call the roll.
Daniel Bedeker, Ranjit Bahav, Brian Black, Jim Connors, Matthew Connors,
here.
Brendan Magnan,
Here.
Steve Munson, Nick Ritchie,
Here.
Julie Valvo,
Here.
Buddy Field,
Here.
Ray Gradwell,
Here.
Ranjit Bahav.
Yeah.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mary Rose. So Commissioner Bedeker, Commissioner Black, and Commissioner Munson are absent. Commissioner Field and Commissioner Gradwell, could you please serve as voting alternates?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, just as a reminder, as we continue to host remote meetings, there's a few statutory guidelines to ensure that we comply with to ensure that the meeting runs efficiently and that the administrative rules are followed. In accordance with the Freedom of Information Act and Governor Lamont's executive orders, this meeting is being recorded and will be made available on the City of Milford website. It's also being streamed on YouTube. During the meeting, if you would like to be recognized by me as the chair, please raise your hand using the Zoom feature. All participants will be muted during the meeting unless recognized by me as the chair. Once you're recognized, please be sure to state your name and address prior to making a statement, except for the commissioners who have already been identified. And a couple of important reminders. This is the Milford Inlands Wetlands Agency. Our purview is to regulate the wetlands, brooks, rivers, flooding, and wetland habitat. Zoning issues are not under our review. So additionally, as we, as an agency, review applications solely on the basis of their potential impacts to wetlands and watercourses as defined under state law. We encourage public comment in the appropriate agenda items. And we ask that all testimony and remarks are purely focused on the wetlands related considerations. So testimony concerning general desirability or undesirability of a proposed development, including the housing density or traffic density, etc., are outside of our legal jurisdiction and will be limited in the interest of fairness and relevance and efficiency of the meeting. At this time, I'd like to move to item B on the agenda, and that is the Pledge of Allegiance. If I could ask everyone to stand, and Mary Rose, if you could share the flag, we can, you can unmute yourselves and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
And Mary Rose, could you please put the agenda up?
Yes. 1 second. Sorry. Apologies, that was not preloaded.
No problem. While you're doing that, I'll just continue. The next item on the agenda is the continuation of the public hearing in regards to IW 250036. That's 34 Buick Avenue, map 66, block 825, parcel 16, 34 Buick Avenue, LLC. This is for a proposed construction of a 53-unit building under Connecticut General Statutes 830G with construction, grading, and stormwater within 100 feet of wetland and watercourse in the Indian River watershed. This matter was received on the 18th of June. At this time, I'd like to announce that the applicant has granted an extension for this public hearing until September 3rd, 2025. Therefore, the public hearing for this matter will be continued during the meeting of September 3rd. May I have a motion to that effect, please?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion made by Mr. Connors, Mr. Matthew Connors, Mary Rose, and a second from Mr. Jim Connors. Any discussion on the motion? Mary Rose, were you going to say something?
No, I'm asking you if you want me to call the roll.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Reggie Pahav,
Aye.
Commissioner Connors,
Aye.
Commissioner Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Commissioner Field,
Aye.
Commissioner Gradwell,
Aye.
Commissioner Ritchie,
Aye.
Commissioner Valvo,
Aye.
Chairman Magnin.
Aye. The motion carries. The matter will be continued during the meeting of September 3rd. Mary Rose, do you have the agenda ready to share? I think the
I
next
do.
item on the agenda is the continuation of the regular meeting.
Yes.
Great. So at this time, I invite anyone that's wishing to address the agency on topics not otherwise on the agenda, please raise your hand. This is your opportunity to speak to the agency under public comments. Okay, hearing none. If there's no public comments, we'll move on to old business. That's IW 250039, 43 Driftwood Road, map 45, block 511, parcel 4G. That's under Andrew Carlson as the applicant. Hey, Rose, could you please give an overview of this one?
Sure. 1 second. Just want to, if I can, switch to the share for this one.
There you go.
All right, there we go. This is a proposal. Whoops, and I lost my notes. It's a proposal to raise and rebuild a single-family home with construction, grading, and stormwater within 100 feet of a wetland and watercourse in the Indian River watershed by Andrew Carlson. The Carlsons are proposing to remove the existing structure to build a flood-compliant home that better suits their family's needs. They're proposing infiltration to pre-treat the stormwater, to remove the Phragmites in the rear of the lot, to plant native salt-tolerant species along the wetlands lines on the rear of the site. The project proposes grading within approximately 7 feet of the inland wetlands and construction work within about 17.5 feet of the inland wetlands that are located on the northern rear of the site by the soil scientists, kind of up in this area. That delineation was by Scott Stevens and Jen Benno of Soil Science and Environmental Services. Tidal wetlands were also found on the rear of the property, which is located on Gulf Pond. They are proposing an orange silt fence backed up by hay bales for protection of the resources and visibility during construction. Let me switch to this is the existing plan. This is the house that exists today. And this is the proposed plan.
Mary Rose, if you don't mind going back to the first drawing, it was a little small. Can you just reorient us as to the existing conditions as to where there we go, where the wetlands are?
Sure, this is Driftwood Lane, and I can give you an aerial if you want an orientation for where we are.
Sure.
Back here is Gulf Pond. This is the home. You enter to the left with a garage under. The wetland lines are back here. There's an inland wetland line in front of the tidal wetland line that runs along the rear of the site. And here's the Gulf Pond. The lot is kind of, it's not very deep, but it's wide, just due to its location on the cul-de-sac. I think, nope, I did not find it, but give me a second, we will. We turn up all of the extra stuff. So this is the home. Unfortunately, our parcels aren't working, but this is the home. This is Gulf Pond. You come down Driftwood, you go down and under the home to enter the driveway. I also have some site pictures that we can share if you would like. Bob Weway submitted the site to the National Natural Diversity Database, Connecticut DEP. They found several species that could be in the area, but reported that only one could potentially be impacted by the development, and that would be the northern diamondback terrapin. The applicant is proposing to work with the recommendations of NDDB to protect that species. City engineers reviewed the application, his reports in the meeting documents. He had no issues with the site. I walked the site on Monday. My notes and photos are in the file. This evening we have attorney Kevin Kersaden, Robert Weway, and Jeff Gordon of Codaspoti Associates, and I'm not sure if we have Jen Benno. I don't believe we have Jen Benno and Scott Stevens to represent the site.
Thank you, Mary Rose. Anything further by way of overview, or should we invite the applicant to present?
Stop this share for a second. Kevin or Bob, are you here?
Yes, good evening, Mary Rose, members of the Wetland Agency, Chairman. Kevin Kersaden, my office is at 243 Broad Street here in Milford. With me this evening are the Carlsons, Doctors Andrew and Elise Carlson. Bob Weway, the professional engineer, project engineer. I believe Jeff Gordon may also be on the call. This, just as a way of background, if you were coming from New Haven Avenue down Gulf Street, Driftwood is on the left. It's I don't know, 3 or 4 streets down coming from New Haven Avenue on the left-hand side. As Mary Rose pointed out, the property is on Gulf Pond. It's an odd-shaped parcel. There's existing tidal and inland wetlands. Mary Rose gave a great summary with that, and you've had all the information in your package. The current structure is structurally unsound. It has a foundation issue, so the house is not safe to live in. It must be raised, RAZED, and also raised in the sense of new construction has to meet the current FEMA flood zone guidelines. So it's a necessary replacement. It's a single family house replacing a single family house. I'll defer to Bob Weway if he would like to make some comments. We have, as Mary Rose mentioned, received comments from the relevant city agencies at this point. I would like to let this agency know that there's another step in this process after this. If this were to be approved here, we still need a coastal site plan application and special permit with the Planning and Zoning Board. That would be our next step in the process. Bob, do you have anything further you'd like to add?
Thanks, Mr. Kersaden. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, hi, it's Bob Weway, professional engineer with Coda Spody and Associates, offices at 263 Boston Post Road in Orange. Yeah, if Mary Rose, if you could give me the ability to share.
Yep. Hold on, I'm gonna stop mine.
All right, so basically this is a portion of sheet of the existing conditions map, sheet EC. And what I've done on here is basically just highlighted the wetland area, the inland wetland area that's regulated by your commission. So what you can see, it's a relatively small area. It's about 956 square feet, with the area highlighted in blue, and then the tidal wetlands are located down in this general area here. So the topography basically slopes from Driftwood Lane down to Gulf Pond. There's presently no stormwater management associated with the property. Basically, the runoff right now comes down the driveway and sheet flows across the lawn area and then down into the wetland area. And likewise, with the existing house, there is some roof drainage that daylights through a drainage pipe in the backyard area here, and just is allowed the free flow into Gulf Pond. So one of the things that we're going to be doing as part of the proposed plan, we will be improving the water quality with regards to the property. And that's shown on sheet SP2 of the proposed plans. So the driveway is going to be reconfigured, so the driveway won't be down in the back area anymore. We're going to keep everything up in the front. And that will give us the ability to capture all the runoff from the driveway into a yard drain and then have that directed into an underground gallery system. Likewise, all the roof drainage for the proposed house will be collected through the gutter system and then the downspouts and leaders, and that runoff will be directed to either the front gallery or the back gallery as the roof areas would dictate for that. So the proposed plan will be a big improvement with regards to the stormwater quality for the proposed project. We've implemented standard soil erosion control measures, which are shown on sheet SP3, and these revised plans do take into account comments from Jen Benno based on her environmental review. So we've added, basically a double row of silt fencing down through here, as well as providing some swap out of planting species, and that was coordinated with Jeff Gordon from our office to follow her recommendations along those lines. Now, she did have one recommendation in her report requesting to put a split rail fence in, and we had the conversation back with her after that came out, and basically we indicated to her that the split rail fence is really not prudent for this particular development because we are located within the flood zone, and in accordance with the FEMA guidelines, the fencing of that type is really not recommended to be placed within the floodplain. So I think between the plantings and the remainder, Gulf Pond will be separated off from the proposed building area there, and will provide the protections for that. Now, with regards to the NDDB, we did have some comments that came back with regards to the turtles, and some of that was based on what they're looking for is not to have any hard armoring within those areas. So if there is anything that comes up from the environmental perspective, that comes in. So what we've done is basically along the some of the eroded and the embankment areas, we're proposing to put in fiber logs, which would be staked in place and supplemented with live cuttings of non-invasive shrubs. And as indicated on the plans, those would be shad below, inkberry, and arrowwood. And per Jen's comments and conversations with Jeff Gordon from our office, that will be coordinated between the two offices as well as in conjunction with Mary Rose. So I think that's the bulk of it. Like Mary Rose did a good description, or gave a good description of everything coming through with the site. So, I kind of, gave you a little bit of background on storm drainage, and that pretty much wraps up what the project is about. It's relatively simple and straightforward project, in my opinion. So if the commission has any questions, we'll certainly try to answer them.
Great. Mr. Weiwei, thank you very much for that great overview, comprehensive, and appreciate the explanation you provided relative to the threatened species, the turtle, the northern diamondback terrapin, and the work that you and the expert team is proposing there. Mayor Rose, in your expert opinion, is there anything that we need to consider that we haven't discussed? Is there anything additional that you would think the agency needs to consider?
No, I think the applicant has put together a good proposal to deal with the issue, which is the problem with the structure, and to protect the resources in working with a difficult shaped lot. This family has lived here for a long time, and they haven't encroached into the pond. I don't see the need for a fence. I think it would be a safety issue in a storm. And I think the plantings and the armoring of the shore is a good environmental solution to that issue of having some plantings and some buffer along the edge of the pond. I have some pictures from my site walk if the agency would like to see them.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Let's do that. And then let's open it up for deliberation by the agency.
Mr. Chairman, it's Attorney Crusaden. May I just make one further comment?
Sure.
The fences on anything related to Long Island Sound or Gulf Pond are also not allowed by the zoning regulations, just as an FYI.
Understood. Yeah. And we've heard the consideration around the reservation around putting fences in the flood area. We've heard that before, so that's certainly good justification as well for the consideration. So good that it was considered, but nonetheless, understand that. Mayor Rose, go ahead.
Okay, so sorry, we got ahead of ourselves here. This is walking down the driveway as it exists. You see how the driveway and the slope goes right down. The Phragmites in the back here where my pointer is roughly the start of Gulf Pond. So water now can just shed down here and go right into the pond, where the new design has water going into a catch basin over here that leads to a galley system in front of the home. This is standing in the rear yard close to the property line. On the north side of the property, we've got Phragmites and some invasives to our left and our front. And this is the rear yard. The home will now come almost to where we're standing. It'll be wider than it is now. Standing on the south side of the property, the opposite side of the property, looking towards where we were standing before, you've got the stand of Phragmites, the free-flowing pipe that Mr. Weiwei discussed, and you can see the slope coming down rather severely on the south side of the structure. And this is just an extension of that picture so that you can see it was low tide when I was out there, but this is where the pond is. And this is a different view, same spot, looking up that slope on the south side of the building. I think one of the infiltrator galley systems will be proposed in this area over here. And just looking down the slope on the south side of the building. And that is it.
Thank
Does
you,
anybody
Mary.
have any questions?
Questions of the applicants from the commissioners? Mr. Gradwell, Mr. Field?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Bennett.
I'm looking at the project now, and I actually think this is a great proposal. The engineer did an excellent job in the drainage control, which the old house doesn't have any. They basically, the driveways that pre-exist right now, in any heavy storms, water runoff will go down into the tidal and into the wetlands. The way they have it designed, that won't really happen. Um, and I think they did excellent protection for the construction of it. It's basically almost in the same footprint. You might be a little bit closer, but the house itself basically is like a wall from the higher point of the road to the lower point, and I think it's an excellent design. And I like it. I think they did a very good job for what they were given.
I agree with Buddy. It's a net improvement on the whole neighborhood.
Thank you, Commissioner Field and Commissioner Connors. Mr. Gradwell?
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Connors and Mr. Field. This proposal is a great proposal for this area. Definitely some stormwater measures that will be kind of beneficial to the environment just downstream of it in Gulf Pond. Was there one question maybe for the engineer, Mr. Weiwei, on the floodplain? It appears the floodplain runs through this building. Will there be any floodplain improvements to the building? Will it be elevated out of the floodplain? I think you mentioned, or the attorney mentioned that the building would be raised out of the floodplain to protect the structure from potential flooding. Just if they can explain that a little bit further on the floodplaining issue there. Okay, yeah.
Okay, yep, I'll certainly try to address that. So the floodplain, you could kind of see it. It's at elevation 12. So right now it's pretty much running right through the middle portion of the building. So elevation 12 becomes the magical number with regards to setting the finished floors and those types of elements. So everything that we're doing in conjunction with the development of the building will be in conjunction or conform with the FEMA regulations and guidelines. So the structure will be elevated up above that regulatory elevation of 12.
I assume it's a slab house, correct?
Yeah, you got the garage, and I don't have the architectural plans, which are pretty funky in terms of the design. But anything, if there were to be a slab down below that, just for the sake of argument, that would be provided with the proper and required flood venting. But everything that we've got on there, I believe we were showing, I'd have to get back to my other plan. We were showing for the finished floor of the house is going to be up at elevation 124, and the garage was set to be at 16.1.
Well, by the picture, it looks like a pretty fancy house.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Okay, let's keep our comments to the wetlands, please.
To the wetlands. Sorry, Brandon.
Thank you. Mr. Gradwell, did that answer your question pertaining to the wetlands?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Mr. Weiwei explained that pretty well. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Matthew Connors, I saw your hand up, but it's not lowered. You're
No, I just had a quick question. I think the plans, I agree with the rest of the commissioners. I think the plans are great. Just one suggestion on a finishing touch. As far as the Phragmites goes, I think the removal is a great improvement. If there are diamondback terrapins in the area, they do not like that as habitat, and it does affect their hatcheries, or their nesting areas. I don't know I didn't get a chance to see what sort of plantings you're planning on throwing down, but if seed cord grass could be thrown in there, that would be a great addition. I think it improves the habitat for them.
Thanks for that suggestion, Mr. Connors. Did Ms. Benno weigh in on that, Mr. Kersaden?
I'd have to say, I just want to point out, I think Dr. Carlson has his hand raised as well. He might want to address one of your comments.
Okay, yep, thanks for that. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Mr. Carlson.
Thanks so much. Andrew Carlson and my wife Elise Carlson, currently residing at 98 Franklin Road in Milford. and are the owners of the lot. This is a family lot, and as they suggested, background, and I'll answer the specific questions. The house has to be destroyed because of the wetlands. The way it was built in the 1970s, it was a spread footing, and the back half of the house is sinking into the wetlands and sliding towards wetlands. So there's structural integrity issues that we can't use it. The owners, original owners, my wife's parents, the husband was a member of the Inland Wetlands Committee, and served as the Conservation Commission chairman for years. So we very much want to make sure that this project is done correctly for the wetlands and the environment. In reference to the slab foundation, yes, it is a slab foundation. We don't want to build a new home anywhere near where we're going to get hurricane flooding. And so in order to stabilize the home, it has to have helical pilings put in to stabilize down about 50 feet to solid ground. And then the slab will be built up around 16 feet, as they described. So the top level, the first living level, will be well above the AE 12. The city had asked for AE 14, but in order to prevent a lot of that stormwater drainage coming from the street down the driveway, we wanted to make sure that the garage was at the level of the street to decrease that infiltration into the pond. And so that's why we had done that. As far as the plantings, as you know, Phragmites are incredibly hard to get rid of, and my in-laws had spent years and a lot of money trying to have someone remove them and cut them down. What's been nice is there's been a lot of that grass growing naturally on the pond side of the Phragmites, and I do think it is pushing it out. So we are more than willing to help with removing that Phragmites and plant that other grass. There's also another invasive, I think Norway maple, that I've already gotten quotes on removing and trying to get more native species and get rid of the invasive species. So just to address that.
Thanks for the testimony and all of the initiative that you put forward. Certainly echo the strong support from the agency. It's a very well-designed program. You picked some great experts to present the application to us. Thank you very much for that.
Mr. Chairman, Kevin Crusaden again. I didn't get a chance to answer your question. I don't believe Ms. Benno addressed the terrapin species issue. If there's something that we'll definitely work with staff and the recommendations of the agency to address Mr. Connors and the agency's concerns.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like from Mr. Weiwei's testimony that he has coordinated with Ms. Benno with regard to the approach and the sequencing of construction and things of that nature, which is great. But yeah, if you can add that consideration to Jen Benno's recommendation, that'd be fine.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Connors, does that cover your concern?
Yes, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Crusaden. My only question is sequencing. The one thing that I'm just trusting that the sequencing of all the construction takes into account the relevant protections in the areas. Mr. Weiwei, can you just confirm that? You don't have to kind of deep dive, but just in your expert opinion, you've done everything that you need to do from construction sequencing to address, given that there's going to be all this massive amount of work, we just want to make sure that we're covered there.
Yeah, I believe with the S&E plan and then our construction sequencing, we've covered the bases on that. And again, this is, as any construction is, it's, these projects are dynamic. So if something should pop up during the demolition and or construction, we could certainly make adjustments to the sequencing and incorporate whatever measures are needed to make sure we don't have any erosion or negative impacts on the wetlands and tidal wetlands.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for confirming that. Okay, any other considerations from the agency? If not,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
I looked at the old plan, and everything on this new plan I see is an improvement. Everything is higher in elevation. It's really a well thought out plan. And I have quite confidence that they're going to do an excellent job with it. So I'm extremely happy with the way they presented it to the board. It's a very good plan and well thought out plan for what is considered how close it is.
Yeah, and there's actually no impact to the wetlands, as meaning
Yes.
meaning there's no destruction. That's the word I'm looking for.
Exactly.
So, okay, so we do have a couple motions available to us as is customary. We have a standard motion with a bunch of conditions to approve. We have a standard motion to deny. Doesn't sound like that's the prerogative of the agency. Does someone want to make a motion?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay,
I'd like to make a
I'll second
motion.
it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I said
I'd
I'll
like to make
second it. Oh, sorry.
we'll let Julie read it first before we entertain a second.
Yeah. Go ahead, Julie.
Mr. Chairman, after duly considering all relevant factors, I move to approve application IW-25-0039, 43 Driftwood Road, based on the plans entitled Zoning Location Survey 43 Driftwood Lane, prepared for Andrew Carlson, Milford, Connecticut, by Codispoti and Associates, 4 sheets dated ECSV SP1 and SP3, July 5th, 2020, 7/5/24. SP2, 7/3/25, revisions SP1 and SP3, 7/24/25. The information in the file and presented this evening for the following reasons. This action will not have an impact or effect on the physical characteristics of the adjacent wetlands and watercourses, with conditions including the permittee must submit a construction plan prior to taking out the permit. Soil erosion and sedimentation controls as outlined on the plans and in the CTDEEP 2024 erosion and sedimentation control guidelines must be installed and maintained on the site until the property is stabilized. Wetland notification to be placed on the as-built to give notification to property owners that permits are required from the MIWA to work on the site. Documentation to be submitted to the MIWA office prior to bond release. Compliance with the city engineer's stormwater requirements. Stormwater treatment must be installed as approved on the plans unless any changes are approved in writing prior to making that change. The operations and maintenance manuals for the stormwater collection and mitigation systems are to be prepared for review a minimum of 90 days before taking out the permit, and record of the City of Milford land records with the property documents. The owner person responsible for the erosion and sedimentation controls must do weekly inspections and within 48 hours of a significant precipitation event, which is 1.5 inches in a 24-hour period. Issues noted with the erosion controls must be addressed within 24 hours of the inspection. A draft calculation for the construction bond must be submitted for review a minimum of 90 days before taking out the permit. A permit construction bond to be calculated must be posted with the MIWA for S&E controls, plantings, and an as-built showing finished 2-foot contours and locating all site structures. The permittee must submit a certification by the project engineer that the completed project meets the design intent of the approval prior to bonds being released. The permit is issued 8/6/25 and expires 8/6/30 unless otherwise provided by statute. That is my motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Valvo. We have a motion, and Mr. Jim Connors, who seconds it.
Yes.
Just a point of clarification, only because for the record, the draft motion did say 43 Driftwood Road. However, the plans are titled 43 Driftwood Lane. Just want to make it clear that the record reflects it's for 43 Driftwood Lane. Is that correct, Mary Rose?
That is correct. That's my typo. I apologize.
No problem. Just want to make sure that the motion is modified accordingly. So can I have a motion to adjust the motion as it was read to reflect?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I second it.
Okay. So any discussion on that technical clarification? Hearing none, Mayor Rose, can you do a roll call vote on the amendment to the main motion?
Ranjit Bahav,
Aye.
Commissioner Connors,
Aye.
Commissioner Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Commissioner Field,
Aye.
Commissioner Gradwell,
Aye.
Commissioner Ritchie.
He recused
He had
himself.
recused himself from this matter. Commissioner Valvo,
Aye.
Chairman Magna.
Aye. Okay, now back to the main motion as amended. Any further discussion on the motion?
Are we comfortable, sorry to interrupt you, are we comfortable with it just saying plantings and not native plantings? Or does that need to be amended or no? In regards to the discussion from earlier?
If I may, Jen Benno had the plantings on the planting plan changed to all native salt tolerant, I believe.
Thank you.
I'm okay with it just because it's referring to the planting plan, which Mary Rose just clarified, but yeah, we can always consider revising that for future draft motions. Mary Rose, I did have a doubt as the motion was being read. The calculation of the construction bond being submitted for review a minimum of 90 days before taking out. Is it before taking out or after?
It was before taking out the permit. We have permits that last 5 years. Our permits last 5 years. You issue it, they have 5 years to do it. I believe this applicant is motivated to start as soon as possible, but others may hold their permit and not do it for a while. After those 5 years are up, they can get another 5-year extension.
Yeah.
So those bond amounts could potentially be 10 years old when they start to construct. And they may not mean as much 10 years down the road as incentive to actually do the project as proposed. And so it was suggested to me to ask for the bond calculations 90 days before they're starting to work so
Okay.
that we're all on the same plans and we're in the right dollar figure.
Thanks for clarifying that. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Great. If there's no other questions from the agency, Mayor Rose, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bahab,
Aye.
Commissioner Jim Connors,
Mr. Jim Connors, are you there?
I'm here, aye.
Commissioner Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Commissioner Field,
Aye.
Commissioner Gradwell, Commissioner Valvo,
Aye.
Commissioner Magnan. I'm sorry, Chairman Magnan.
Aye. The motion carries as amended. Good luck with the application or
Thank you.
project. Mr. Crusaden, thanks for bringing your entire team here. Good luck to the Carlsons.
Thank you very much.
Here you'll be under good direction from Mary Rose as you need to be for this application as well. Thank you, Mary Rose, for all your help on this one.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, moving on. I'm just going to text Mr. Ritchie. He did recuse himself from the matter that we just concluded. So he's going to rejoin. Just give him a moment. While we do that, maybe you could share the agenda once again, Mary Rose. I believe
Certainly.
we're now going to go to, is it F1, new business?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Let's proceed with new business.
Mr. Chairman, if I may interrupt.
Sure.
Just as a reminder, there's some folks that have come on since the beginning of the meeting. And just to give information out, the public hearing for 34 Buick Avenue, IW 250036, has been continued until September 3rd. So that public hearing will be picked up and begin again on September 3rd.
Thank you, Mary Rose. And that's just a general advisement for anyone who may have joined late or maybe still joining and interested in that topic. We have passed by that topic already. We've covered it. We're now at item F. So item F on the agenda, Mary Rose, this is, I believe it's IW 2504, I'm sorry, 0041. It's 1 Bayshore.
1 Bayshore Drive.
Thank you. I'll let you finish the overview.
Sorry, I changed that too quickly on you. I've put up the near map of that app, so you can locate yourself to this this address.
Thank you.
This is IW 250041. It's 1 Bayshore Drive. It's a proposal to raise and rebuild a single-family home with construction and grading within 100 feet of a wetland and watercourse in the South Central Shoreline Watershed by 1 Bayshore LLC. They're proposing to remove the existing structure and build a flood-compliant home that better meets their needs. The site is located adjacent to Calf Meadow Creek, that is on its east, and it has both inland and tidal wetlands on the property. Application is to allow work in approximately 81 square feet of wetlands and approximately 2,268 square feet of upland review area for the demolition of the existing home and construction of a new flood compliant home in the same footprint. The 81 square feet of inland wetlands and a portion of the tidal wetlands are currently located under the existing rear deck and stairs. So the application before you is to knock down the existing home and its existing deck and stairs. And as I turn you down, north is now to your bottom. So the wetlands are located kind of in this location I'm describing on near map under these stairs. And then these are all tidal wetlands back here. This is a tidal creek. And then Long Island Sound in this version is on the top of the picture. The applicants submitted several maps and plan sets for review. We've got different hard copies than we have digital copies. I sent them a letter on Friday requesting that they clarify which set of plans they'd like you to review. It's important in permitting that we're all on the same page, that we're not looking at different versions of a map, to ensure that DEP, Planning and Zoning, ZBA, and Building all approve the same set of plans so that when the contractor gets in the field, they're not working off something they shouldn't, and then they wind up with a violation under one of the permits because they're not working in the right place. Mr. Spini, who's a principal in 1 Bayshore LLC, through email has asked that the agency determine if this is an exempt activity under Section 4 of the regulations. Sorry, I let somebody in. It's my opinion that this is not an exempt activity under Section 4, which is our section that covers permitted uses as of right and non-regulated uses and activities. Sections 4.1, A, C, E, and F don't apply. This is a residential structure. Sections 4.1B requires that a building permit have been issued for this structure prior to July 1st, 1974. Since we're being asked to permit a new structure, it fails that condition. Section 4.1D would allow uses incidental to use and enjoyment of the existing residential structure, but doesn't allow removal or deposition of material into a wetland. And Section 4.2 is for conservation and soil and outdoor recreation. So it's my opinion that the agency would not consider this an exempt activity, but she's asked for your opinion, and I would propose that you review, consider, and vote on that. I don't have plans to show you because I don't know which plans she actually wants to use. And I do not see Ms. Raspini or her consultants in the meeting this evening.
Okay, thank you, Mary Rose, for testimony. Do we have any input from the agency at this time relative to the applicant's request to be considered an exempt activity? Does anyone agree with her request?
Based on what Mary Rose said, I would agree with Mary Rose. But again, we don't have a plan in front of us even saying what the activity exactly is. But I'd make the motion that it is not an exempt activity.
And I would agree with Mr. Connors, Mr. Chair.
Anyone else?
I kind of agree with Buddy and the other Mr. Connors.
Mr. Ritchie, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think without a set of plans, it's kind of, you don't know what they're really going to put there. So in addition to that also.
Okay, I'm gonna weigh in. So, yeah, agree that we need certainty on what's being proposed. So that's square one, that's number one. As it relates to the request for this to be classified as an exempt activity, I think that's an absurd request. I think that's not in keeping with the wetlands regulation whatsoever. So I absolutely disagree with that request and do not approve it. Anyone looking at this application can see that there's work that's potentially going to impact the wetlands, and Article 4 does not cover the application, or the application as I understand it. So yeah, it's an invalid request.
I mean, looking at the picture, it looks like it's bordering being in the creek.
It's exactly.
The project has gone through Connecticut DEP, and they have received an approval from DEP to as long as they stay within this footprint to take this house down and build a new house. They have to leave the original foundation on the creek side. I don't think I can get you any closer to that, but
through the chair.
So this foundation, this original foundation will stay, and the foundation for the new home would be behind that.
Mr. Field, go ahead.
I'm assuming this house was built in the 70s, you said, right? 70s?
No, I do not know when this house was constructed.
Well, let me put it this way. Prior to 2000, when Helix was non-existent, no one did it. Everything was spread footings. And I don't know the ground there. I don't know if any testing has been done for the ground, which you would assume there would be. And I'm assuming there you'd have to do Helix, and that's all engineer designed. And even if the edge of the house was at the foundation, you need at least 2-3 feet of work laterally, either direction, easily for that. So, I mean, that's something they have to present before the commission through engineering and facts, as opposed to, well, we're just going to put in the same footprint. Because even that may sound fine, and back then when that house was built, it was okay, but they're more than likely gonna probably go up 3 stories. And
through you, Mr. Chair, if I can interrupt, because I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole without plans and the applicant here, but
okay.
They did present plans, and they did get an approval from DEP, and that was one of an array of plans that we got, but there's different revision dates on the plans we have. And so I just want to be clear from the applicant what they're proposing before putting those before you. But they did investigate different types of foundations, and I believe it's helical, but I'm not positive.
Okay, through the chair, I think like any development, whether it's in a situation like this or not, they should have a package with everything complete, so that way we can make an educated decision. This way, right now, it's all over the place.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment, Mr. Field. I don't even know that I feel comfortable qualifying this as being received for the reasons discussed. We've given input, Mayor Rose, as it relates to our expert view on whether or not it's an exempt activity. Just based on the limited information we've been given, it doesn't. But I'm not comfortable with this being a fully presented, meaning complete documentation, complete package hasn't been presented. The applicant's not present. I don't consider this to be an application that's been properly presented to the agency for receipt.
I will send the applicant, I would ask that you'd vote on if you feel it's an exempt activity or not, just to clarify that. Or if you want to hold that vote until you see plans, that's the agency's prerogative. But once you make that vote, I will send another letter requesting what we need to review an application. which we've sent those letters before, but we will send them again.
I'm ready
I
to make
think
the
we should
motion
have
that it's not.
plans.
Sorry, we have two people speaking. Mr. Matthew Connors, did you want to speak?
I'm ready to make the motion that it is not, just based on what has been discussed. So
My only
Just had an iPhone enter the meeting. Hold on.
My only question, Mary Rose, is whether or not it's prudent to hold off on making that ruling. I just don't feel like we can consider this to be received. We don't have
Plans.
minimum required plans to consider this received.
Through you, Mr. Chair, there's probably some sort of checklist for an application. I would imagine that this is just an aerial view and a discussion of some improvements that may or may not be made on this site. I kind of agree with this commission that this application is incomplete or not even an application at this point.
Right.
We did receive did receive a signed application form. We did receive the fee for the application based on the plans that I'd gotten online. But then we had different plans come in because we need hard copies for our ultimate record. We had different plans come in, and then in reviewing the plans online, I realized that there was different revisions. So,
Okay, so I think that clarifies the confusion that I had in my mind, Mary Rose. So I'm comfortable with considering this as, given the applicant has submitted the request and, let's give the applicant the benefit of the doubt that there's some technical issues behind that is causing this, these inconsistencies, that's the word I'm looking for. So it's fine, we can consider it as received. We can acknowledge that we don't have sufficient consistent plans to really understand what's being proposed. So then the question becomes, do we want to make a ruling tonight on this being considered not an exempt activity? What's the prerogative of the agency?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't think that any plans being presented one way or another is going to change the commission's opinion on that topic. I think the consensus is that it's not. And
I
so we
agree.
can vote through that tonight and just get that off the table.
Sounds good. I'm willing to hear a motion to that effect.
I
I can
make a motion that we determine that the application is not exempt due to, what's it called?
is not exempt. It's not an exempt activity under Section 4 of the MIWA regulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that, Mary Rose. The motion has been made by Mrs.
I'll second it.
Bravo and seconded by Mr. Matthew Connors. Do we have any discussion on the motion?
Mr. Chair, to Mary Rose through the chair, would this be a denial of the application or a denial without prejudice, so they can come back and change it?
It's not a denial of the application. She, Mrs. Raspini, had sent several emails over the weekend saying, I've looked at your regulations and I think I'm exempt from you. I've submitted what I've submitted. I submitted a request to clarify what your plans are, and she submitted several emails. This is all in the documents that said, yeah, I don't even think I need to go to you. So, so I said, you know what? I made a decision based on the various information that she submitted to the office that there would be a deck over the inland wetlands, that the agency would want to see that would not be an exempt activity under the regulations in the statute. But it's your call. So I wanted to bring it to you to have you make that determination.
Great. Thank you for doing that. So, Mr. Field, did that answer your question?
It does. The application the way it stands is unacceptable. I just, my look on it is, it's almost like you have to bring in a whole application, because it's like they're almost coming in and saying, hey, this is what we think everything should be, when in actuality it isn't. So, I mean, do we say, okay, we'll leave the application open, but you have to change it or rewrite it? Or just deny it with prejudice the way it stands, so it shows that there is a denial the way it's been presented, so it's very clear and concise. And that way there's no miscommunication on it. I just don't know the legality of it.
Right,
So
but
that's,
Mr. Field, just to be clear, and sorry, Mr. Ritchie, but I want to close this clarification. We're only making a determination that we don't believe the application falls under the requested exemption as permitted under section 4, because in our expert opinion, the activity that's being proposed does not constitute what's permitted in section 4 of the Connecticut statute. So that's all.
Okay.
We're not denying the application. We're
Gotcha.
only repeating it. I think the complication is the fact that we don't have a complete set of plans that are consistent. So that was kind of the hesitation in my mind.
right.
Whether we would consider this even received, but I think we've crossed that. We've addressed that.
Okay, no, I'm comfortable if she comes back with more information. At that point, we can make an educated decision.
Yeah, and I think it's in our best interest, of course, for us to consider the application on its merits, but the very first consideration is the request for us to consider it an exempt, and I think the answer is a hard no, subject to this discussion. We have a motion now. Let's go to the vote. Mary Rose, if you could please call the roll.
Commissioner Bahav,
Aye.
Commissioner Jim Connors,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Commissioner Field,
Aye.
Commissioner Gradwell, Commissioner Ritchie,
Aye.
Commissioner Valvo,
Aye.
Chairman Magnin.
Aye. The motion carries unanimously. We determine that this activity is not considered exempt activity under section 4. So at this time, Mary Rose, given the facts before us, I believe we should table any further discussion. I do want to make an observation. It does seem like a complicated app given the overview that you gave us. So I think to Mr. Field's point, we're going to need a full set of plans to be presented for us to have an educated conversation about what's being proposed here. Okay.
So we're gonna table, you want a motion to table until the discussion until a full set of plans has been presented for review?
Correct. I mean, because we can't really decide if we want to schedule a site walk because we don't really have sufficient plans to even go from.
You need to orient before you can go to the site. All right.
I mean, the other options are we can schedule a public hearing. As of this date, I believe there's no interest made by the public as of this date, but they have until August 20th to make a petition for a public hearing out of public interest.
And you would want a complete application before you set the public hearing date if possible, because you started, a timeline has started this evening. We have 65 days to open a public hearing or make a decision on this application.
Right. And I want to make it clear, as strongly opinionated I was about the qualification for the exempt request, I come into this application with, a degree of interest in making sure that this application is successful, providing it meets all of our regulatory standards. So it's got to go through the motions, go through the process, I should say. Okay, moving on.
So Mr. Chair, do you want to make a motion to table it?
Do we need to? Or do we just take no action?
You can take no action. Tabling it would give it wouldn't be picked up off the table until you've got a set of plans. No action. I'm going to send her a letter to say we need a defined set of plans, please, so that we have something to review to make an informed decision on the application.
I recommend we table it we make a motion to table it until such time that we have a complete application. Someone would like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to table it.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie.
Second.
And a second by Mr. Gradwell. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, Mayor Rose, roll call vote.
Sorry. Commissioner Bahav?
Aye.
Commissioner Jim Connors?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Matthew Connors?
Aye.
Commissioner Field?
Aye.
Commissioner Gradwell?
Aye.
Commissioner Ritchie?
Aye.
Commissioner Valvo?
Aye.
Chairman Magnin?
Aye. Thank you, Mayor Rose. Could you put the agenda back up?
Sure. Hold on a second.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to consideration of the minutes from the previous meeting. So everyone received the minutes? I think we all have received them. Did everyone have a chance to read them? And is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
If I may, Mr. Chair. We had a request from a member of the public. Sorry, I got to get to that point. Who was, his response was under 4 when he really meant to speak against. He just came in early, Mr. Tremblay. So he just asked to note in the minutes that he was really against, not for.
Understood. Okay. So was there any other feedback from the public, or is there any other feedback from the commissioners after having reviewed the minutes?
No.
Okay. And how about the commissioners?
No.
Well,
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from July 16th public hearing and regular meeting as amended by Mary Rose?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Great. We have a motion made by Mr. Connors, Jim Connors, and seconded by Ms. Valvo. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mary Rose, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bahav?
Aye.
Commissioner Black? Oh, I'm sorry. We're out of order here. Commissioner Jim Connors?
Aye.
Commissioner Vice Chairman Matthew Connors?
Abstain.
Commissioner Warren Field?
Aye.
Commissioner Ritchie?
Aye.
Commissioner Gradwell?
Aye.
Commissioner Valvo?
Aye.
Chairman Magnin?
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you. Please thank Lisa for putting the minutes together. Moving on to Chair's report. Mary Rose, do you want to share a staff report?
Sure. I can do the chair. My updates are in my notes. I met with consultants for the violation at 1 Avalon Drive. You may remember that from last year. There was a meadow area that was supposed to be up gradient of the creek that they continued to mow into the creek. They've come up with a plan that kind of splits the baby from what we had approved, but what works with the contours on the land. So that started, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that they were supposed to not mow it and let it become a meadow. And we'll have a report from the consultant in the fall on how that's progressing. The agency may want to look at it at that time and extend their mitigation monitoring period. simply because, we've gone through a year and a half and they keep mowing the meadow. It's hard to establish it when it keeps getting mowed. 64 Quarry Road has installed their fence. I did, on the weekend, I was driving through that area. I did see that it was up. I have not done the site walk. You had made a motion for me to release that violation upon walking the site. So I hope to do that early next week. Other than that, does anybody have any questions for me?
No,
Alrighty then.
Rose, is the training session that's typically held in November, are there dates that being floated yet for that?
No, I looked this afternoon because it's sometime in August that they usually post that date. And it wasn't up this afternoon. So I will put a feeler out to Kakiwik. They meet sometime around now to secure a venue and to set that up. Hopefully it'll be the same venue. That worked out fairly well.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get that, I'll send it out to folks because it takes us, our process, it takes a little while to get those checks cut for training.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, hearing no other questions for Mary Rose, Chair's report. Thank you very much for everyone's participation this evening and the very lengthy meeting we had at the last meeting. Let's see. Thanks, Mary Rose, for all your work between now and the last meeting to organize tonight's meeting. As far as our next meeting, it will be August 20th, right here on Zoom. Reminder, the public hearing will be continued at the 9/3 meeting, so September 3rd. As always, let Mary Rose and or Taft know if you're unable to attend. And of course, it doesn't go without saying, if anyone from the members of the public approach you outside of the meeting room, please remind them they're welcome to join the meeting. Let's see. That's it. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll give you that.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You can say that.
All right, Mary Rose has to do roll call vote.
I have to do it.
Back to old ways.
Commissioner Bahab?
Aye.
Commissioner Connors?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Connors?
Aye.
Commissioner Field?
Aye.
Commissioner Gradwell? Oh, we might have lost him.
No,
Aye.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you, Ray.
Yeah.
Commissioner Ritchie?
Aye.
Commissioner Valvo?
Aye.
Chairman Magnin?
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Just before I say meeting is adjourned, again, Mary Rose, thanks for covering Lisa tonight, and also for everyone's verbal deliberation in the meeting tonight. That was great throughout the course of the conversation. Thank you again. Meeting.
Good night.
Thank you,
Good night.
everyone.
Everybody, thank you.
Take care.